The moment you tap join, your phone does not just connect, it negotiates. It introduces itself. It proves it is allowed in. And it silently maps a route through invisible air, like finding a hallway in a pitch-black building, by listening for echoes. So what actually happens in those 2 seconds? Why does the same Wi-Fi name sometimes connect instantly, and other times just spin forever? What does your phone say to the router first? Your name, your password, your identity? Why can 2 people on the same network have totally different speeds? And here is the weird one. When you connect to Wi-Fi, what does the Wi-Fi learn about you? Let us pull back the curtain. When you see a list of Wi-Fi networks, your phone is already eavesdropping. Every router is constantly sending tiny broadcasts that say "I am here," called beacons. Think of them like lighthouse flashes. They include the network name, coffeeshop_Wi-Fi, plus clues about what kind of security it uses and what speeds it claims it can handle. Your phone listens to those flashes and builds the list you see. But here's the first twist. Sometimes your phone also shouts into the air first. It sends out a probe message, basically asking if any network named home Wi-Fi is nearby. If you have connected before, your device may actively search for that familiar name, hoping to reconnect fast. That is convenient. It is also revealing, because it can leak the names of networks you have used before, which hints at where you have been. Modern devices try to reduce this, but the basic idea still matters. So before you even connect, the AIR is already full of introductions. Now you tap the network. Step 1 is association, the let me in the building moment. Your phone chooses an access point, sometimes not the strongest one, but the one it thinks will behave best. It then sends a request. Can I join? The router answers, sure, here are the rules. At this point, you are not online yet. You are just inside the lobby. Now comes the gatekeeper, security. If the network is open, there is basically no gate. Your phone can start talking immediately. But if the network is protected, WPA2 or WPA3, your phone and router do a careful dance called a handshake. This is where most people imagine the password being sent. It is not. Your password is used more like an ingredient in a recipe. Both devices mix it with other random numbers to generate a shared secret key, without ever shouting the password itself into the air. Like 2 people proving they know the same secret phrase, by solving the same puzzle and comparing answers without saying the phrase out loud. If that puzzle does not match, no key, no entry. You get that familiar cold rejection, incorrect password. But sometimes you type the password correctly and it still fails. Why? Because interference can corrupt the messages mid-handshake. Or your device tries to reuse an old key that the router no longer accepts. Or the router is overloaded and simply drops the conversation. Wi-Fi is not a wire. It is a crowded room. Okay, so you are in, you have passed the handshake, but you still do not have the one thing you need to actually use the internet: an address. Inside every network, devices need a local ID so they know where to send stuff. That is where DHCP comes in. Your phone basically yells, "Hi, I am new. Does anyone have an IP address for me?" The router acts like the network receptionist and hands one over. Here you go, you are 192.168. something. It also gives you the gateway, the router itself, the door to the outside world, and the DNS server, the network phone book. Now you can talk to other devices on the same Wi-Fi, but the internet? Not quite yet. The internet does not know addresses that start with 192.168. Those are private, like apartment numbers inside a building. To reach the outside world, your router performs a clever trick called NAT, Network Address Translation. It is like the whole apartment building sharing one street address. When your phone sends a message to a website, the router rewrites the from label so it looks like it came from the router public address. Then it keeps a tiny ledger that maps the reply to the correct phone and connection. That is why multiple people can stream at once through the same router without every website getting confused. The router is basically a busy mail sorter with a very fast clipboard. Now you open an app. Let us say you type in youtube.com. Your phone does not know where that is. So it asks, DNS, hey, what is the IP address for youtube.com? DNS replies with a number, an actual destination address, and suddenly your phone can begin the real conversation. If it is a secure website, which is basically everything now, Your phone and YouTube also do their own handshake called TLS. This one is about encryption end-to-end. So even if someone is on the same Wi-Fi network, watching the air like a hawk, they cannot read the contents of what you are sending. They might see that you are talking to YouTube, but not what you are watching. That distinction matters a lot. So why do speeds vary so wildly on the same Wi-Fi? Because Wi-Fi is not internet in the air, it is a shared radio channel. Only one device can really talk clearly at a time on a channel. Everyone else waits, and your router plays traffic cop. If one device has a weak connection, far away or behind walls, it takes longer to send the same amount of data. And because everyone shares the channel, that one slow conversation can drag down the whole room. It is like a group discussion where one person keeps asking "sorry what" over and over. Now add microwaves, Bluetooth, baby monitors, and your neighbor's router blasting on the same channel. You start to realize Wi-Fi speed is not just about your plan, it is about physics and crowd control. But there is a twist people rarely think about. When you connect to Wi-Fi, your device reveals a kind of license plate called a MAC address, a unique identifier for the network hardware. This is how a router recognizes you as the same device next time. Historically, MAC addresses were stable, which made tracking easier. Today, many phones use MAC randomization, which changes that identifier to reduce tracking, especially on public networks. But not every situation uses it, and not every device behaves the same. So yes, connecting to Wi-Fi can share more than just your presence. It can share your patterns. Now let's zoom out. This entire process, beacons, association, handshake, DHCP, DNS, NAT, encryption, usually happens in a blink. You only notice it when it fails. When it fails, it is almost always one of 3 bottlenecks. The air is noisy, with interference, distance, and walls. The router is overwhelmed, with too many devices, cheap hardware, or poor setup. The phone book or address desk is glitching, with DNS or DHCP issues, which means the fix is often boring, but powerful. So what can you actually do, practically, without turning your home into a networking lab? Here are a few choices that usually help. Move the router like it is a lamp, not a secret. Higher, in the center of the home, not tucked in a closet. Wi-Fi hates hiding. Use 5 GHz when you can, and 2.4 GHz when you must. 5 GHz is faster, but shorter range. 2.4 GHz travels farther, but gets crowded. Restarting is not magic. It is a reset of the clipboard. It clears stuck handshakes, freshens DHCP leases, and can kick a congested router back into order. Be picky with public Wi-Fi. Prefer networks that require a password and show a lock icon. For sensitive activity, a VPN adds another privacy layer, especially on networks you do not control. If your home is big, do not fight physics. Add access points. A mesh system or an extra access point is often better than cranking one router to maximum and hoping. So the next time you tap join, picture what is really happening. Your phone is not getting internet. It is stepping into a crowded, invisible room, finding the right voice, shaking hands with a gatekeeper, getting assigned an apartment number, calling the phone book, and then whispering through a secure tunnel while your router rewrites the return address so the whole building can share one mailbox. All in 2 seconds. Wi-Fi is not magic. It is choreography. And once you see the dance, the spinning wheel makes a lot more sense. Because connecting was never a single action. It was a whole conversation you just were not allowed to hear.